Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to say I have the privilege of sharing the ride back to beautiful British Columbia every Thursday night with the member that just gave the speech. And along with us on that very airplane that uses fossil fuels, the things that we are protesting at times, they're protesting across the way, are NDP members, Green members, and Liberal members, all the ones that talk a big game about stopping the resource development but actually use it themselves. I digress a little bit, but stop the hypocrisy challenge is something that I've challenged a few of those leaders to actually do, and if they really are opposed to resource development, to not use those resources. But I still see them get on the same plane as I do, Mr. Speaker. But the question I have for the member from Abbotsford is, he talked about the end game of this particular group and groups that are within the Liberal government, about that actually really want to stop the resource from being developed at all, including the Environment Minister. I'd just like him to speak a little bit and highlight the fact that death through regulation is really the end game for this particular government. Thank you.
Honourable Member for Abbotsford.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And my friend from Peace River Country has it right. There is a lot of hypocrisy in the environmental movement, and I think Canadians have taken a note of that. And the irony is not lost on me that we have on our polluting jets that flies between Ottawa and Vancouver and back, the very members in this House who rail against the fossil fuel sector, but gladly accept the taxpayer-supported flights to and from their towns. Now, Mr. Speaker, I'll say this. For some Canadians, the only process that they will accept is one that ends in no. Yes. We have people like that. We have people in this chamber that believe that. And that's an unacceptable way for Canada to move forward. There is no win in that, because we desperately need to maximize the value of our resources in the ground, get the maximum dollar for them, and that will drive prosperity for future generations.
Questions and comments. The Honourable Member for Saanich Gulf Islands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would ask my honourable colleague from Abbotsford to withdraw the accusation of hypocrisy. Everyone in this place knows that it's a requirement of our job to travel to our ridings to do our work and to be here in this place. And I find it offensive, Mr. Speaker. But my question to the honourable member for Abbotsford is, how can he have such a short memory? Bill C-38 in spring of 2012 was the omnibus bill to end all omnibus bills. It was more than 400 pages long, and it changed 70 different bills. It repealed the Kyoto Implementation Act, it repealed the National Roundtables Act, it repealed the Canadian Environmental Assessment Act, repealed it and replaced it with an entirely inadequate piece of garbage, which this bill is a bit better than that. I have to say, it's better than what was left in 2012. It's not adequate, but it's much better than what we were left with. And in the words of former Conservative fisheries ministers, it gutted the Fisheries Act. Bill C-38 was never attached to a single technical briefing, period. I sat at this desk and read all 430 pages, and by the time I was done, I saw that decades worth of environmental laws were pledged to be destroyed by the previous government. And does the honourable member recall a single technical briefing on that omnibus bill?